Welcome to Family Basics 101. I'm Dr. Bruce McClure, and we will begin a 5-part series on marital infidelity. This will be a series that discuss, first, the definition of infidelity, secondly, how infidelity develops within a relationship, third, the disclosure of infidelity, fourth, the emotions that goes with infidelity, and then finally, how to recover, or at least to begin the recovery of infidelity. Let's begin our series by talking about marital infidelity in terms of a working definition. It's simply a lack of faithfulness to the covenant of the oneness. Two becomes one, but infidelity literally means a lack of faithfulness to that covenant. It's a voluntary sexual relationship between a married individual and someone who is not that individual's spouse. Now, I understand that there is also emotional infidelity, and we'll talk about that as we develop the series throughout the week. But for the sake of just a good concrete definition, understand it's the voluntary sexual relationship between a married individual and someone who is not that individual's spouse. It's an offense that injures public morals and an abuse of the marital covenant relationship where the two becomes one. In some states, infidelity is prohibited and it is seen as a crime, while other states, that is, consider it a crime if it only continues over a protracted amount of time. So basically what that means is, from state to state and from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, how the local laws perceive infidelity might vary. In fact, they do vary. Let's talk about why infidelity is illegal. In the District of Columbia and in 1/2 of the states within the United States, the prevention of disease and illegitimate children is one of the main reasons given as a state or as a district government as to why infidelity is illegal. It is one of the most widespread arenas for disease and illegitimate children. So they don't look at the biblical component directly, but they're simply looking at disease, and they're looking at these children are being born outside of a two-parent home. A second reason why infidelity is considered illegal in many states is it violates the preservation of the institution of marriage. Many states acknowledge marriage, and yet they're saying when there is infidelity, there's a violation of the preservation of that institution. A third reason why infidelity is considered illegal: it violates the safeguarding of the general community morals. Now, in the year 2012, a lot of the morals that are found inside the relationship of marriage is being challenged in the courts, and is being challenged in the court of public opinion. And in essence, the value of marriage is being reshaped not by the morals of God or the expectations of God, but now the morals and the expectations of that institution that safeguards the community and that preserves the institution of marriage is being challenged by those that the institution of marriage was designed to protect in the first place. And with that are coming so many other possibilities of detrimental things that can happen to the institution and the working definition as it was originally intended. Let me give you some statistics about the definition of infidelity. 10% of affairs lasted for only one day. But the ramifications of the affair will last for a lifetime. 10% of the affairs lasted more than one day, but less than 30 days. And yet, on the one day, the initial beginning of that infidelity, there was the expectation in the mind of the individual that it was going to last forever. And it only lasted 30 days. 50% of affairs lasted more than 30 days, but less than 1 year. So within 12 months from the beginning of an affair to 12 months later, 50% of those affairs were over. 40% of the affairs lasted for 2 years or more. And that's the long term. Rarely do affairs last beyond 4 years. Only 3% of those who are involved in affairs marry the person they had the affair with. So when we look at the definition of infidelity, you cannot take what is defined as a violation and turn that misplaced behavior into a positive definition. It's infidelity. Faithfulness is non-existent. And what the stats are showing is that because the infidelity is in the definition, the relationships do not last. The divorce rate among the 3% who marry the person involved in the affairs, most of those, 75%, will end in a divorce. So the divorce rate among the 3% who will marry the person ends up with a 75% divorce rate. 70% of married women did not know their husbands were cheating. 54% of married men did not know their wives were cheating. Because many times people will go into the relationship with a working definition of faithfulness. In the book of Matthew chapter 5, verse 27, you have heard that it was said by them of old, thou shalt not commit infidelity. That moves from the Old Testament into the New Testament. Jesus is quoting from the Old Testament law given to Moses. So when you look at Exodus chapter 20, what's contained in that law at Sinai is to teach the Israelites, do not be unfaithful in your marriages. And yet Jesus quotes from that same text in Matthew chapter 5, verse 27. If we're going to be God's people, then marital infidelity cannot be a part of the ethics, the religion, the morals of the people of God. I'll see you back in class again tomorrow. Don't be late and don't skip class.